This is Living Proof Exhibits pop-up session. Tonight we're going to do one of 3 mini sessions with our artist Gina Kirschbaum. She's going to teach us how to make a paper mache bird. And I'm going to turn it over to Gina now to start the instructing.
Hi, everybody. Tonight we're going to be doing paper mache, which is something that I've been interested in for a couple years now and have always been going to do it, but then get started. Well, this winter was a great winter with nothing to do to finally research it and get started on it. So tonight I'm going to help you all form a little bird like this. And tonight we're going to make the base, the cardboard base. We're going to form the bird and form the bird legs. And then next week we'll be actually making the paper mache and covering it. And third week we'll be decorating him either with paint or with papers or whatever. So to start, first thing, I don't think it was on the list of things you needed, but a paper and a pencil is very helpful. So, but first we're going to form the bird legs. And with that, we're going to use wire. Now, if you picked up and got a packet, you should have, it's about 25 inches of wire. If you didn't pick up a packet right now, you need to take your wire and cut about 25 inches of wire. And this is going to form his feet and then his body that goes up inside and over, across, and down. So it gives him a nice base. Here's another one that I made, a little chicken, and see his feet. I actually glued him down on a base. So anyway, if you have your wire, we're going to start on this side. And what we're going to do is we're making 3 toes. The bird has 3 toes and then 1 toe that goes backwards. So first we want to bend the wire about a little over an inch. This is going to be the back toe. You want to do that and twist the wire. So we're making a loop like this with it twisted. So that, and then just kind of flatten that. And then you do another twist to make one of his toes and wrap it around once like that. So it's around there. Make another toe. Twist the wire around again. And make 1 more toe. And twist. Twist it around and up. Now we have 3 toes, the back toe. You want to kind of flatten them out, kind of play with them. And see, there we have 1 bird foot.
Tell me how long of the wire it was you started with?
About 25 inches.
Okay, thank you.
So we've just made a loop, twisted, another loop, twist, another loop. So you're ending up, can you guys see that? He's kind of a little, so now we go to the other side, do the same thing. Make the back toe like that. Then make 1, twist, another, twist, and another. Oh, and this is a little too short. That was, okay. This is too short. Sorry, I had measured it. We're gonna need a longer, oh, shoot. Does everybody have more wire than what, or does everybody just have 25 inches? We're gonna need, or else he's gonna be a short little bird. Shoot. Okay, where's my wire? If you bought wire, he needs to have a longer body. So we need a longer piece of wire. So I'm gonna start longer. Okay. Okay, go around. Actually, if that's all the wire you have, we just need to make him 2 toes. But if you have your own wire, just do a longer piece. Go over. Do that. Do that. Okay. I think that piece I just cut too short. Okay. It should be like this. So that you have about that much of an arch. So keep working. So it should be about like this. So you got your feet and you have the arch. That's how we want it to work out. Okay. And just kind of bend it so it'll stand up like that. So it stands. Okay. Now we're going to move on to his body, which is going to be like this. It's a circle with a folded like this. And it's going to end up going over like on him like this. Like this. So if you have a cereal box, cut it open, and then with like a piece of paper, you can draw a half circle. This one's about 6.5 inches across, but you can make them as big or as small as you want him. And you can draw it right on the box, or you can draw it on paper. And what you do is you'll put it like that, and you'll trace it. See? I've traced it. Now you want to, at that top line, fold the box right there. You want to get a good fold, because what we're doing is we're creating this part here. So I've folded it, and then go down like an inch maybe, and do another fold. So you're creating his back is what we're doing. Okay. So now I folded it, and then I folded it again. And then you trace this again. So that, right, edge it up, trace it. So we have it there. We have the fold, his back, and we have it there. Now you just cut that out. Okay. Okay. So there he is. See? So you have a half circle, the 2 foot, the back, and then the other, just like this one. There, and then like that. And one thing that I found, a cereal box, you do the folds. If you have like smaller box, this already has the fold for you. So you could just cut and cut, and then you could have a different sizes. So that's just another way you can do it, but the cereal box works well. Now we want to make the cut to cover this. Like, see on here, he's covered. So we're going to cut that. So to measure that, you lay it down, mark it. So I marked where I'm starting, and you just tilt it, and at the other end, so here, run it around and then mark it where it ends. So I marked it and marked it. So then you know how long you need to cover this. So I went like this, rolled it, and marked it again. So then you have that. So then you cut a strip about an inch wide. And see, this is going to cover this. So go ahead and cut what you've marked. And it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. I mean, you want it fairly straight, but you can just kind of eyeball it. So it's about this wide, like an inch. And it should now cover, yep, that whole thing. See? Okay, but before we put the cover on, we're gonna want to attach his letter. So everyone should have masking tape, hopefully. So what you do, you get this nice kind of squared off, make sure it stands, his feet. You want to kind of play with them. If you didn't have enough wire, you can just watch and then get the wire tomorrow and do the wire. I'm very sorry that if the 25, I thought I had measured it correctly. But so just kind of play around with it until you get him to stand. And then you take this and up inside, you're gonna want to tape it in. Like a nice big piece of tape. Tape it in on one side. And you can kind of wrap around. See, I taped it inside. And then on the other side, go ahead, bring him around. Kind of make sure he's gonna stand. You can always play with the feet later too to make sure he stands. Okay, tape it in there. And there. So it's all taped in. See that? I just taped him in both sides. Now, you want to take that strip that you cut, and we're going to start and tape that in. So up here, take a piece of tape up on the top, line it up, and tape, and then bend it around and tape it at the other top. Up here, tape it at the other end. So I've taped it there, and I've taped it there, and then just go around and tape it down well. Like that. Just go around. All this tape is going to be covered up, so don't worry about too much tape or anything like that, because it'll all be covered next week with our paper mache. So just keep going around, taping them in. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I taped, it's all on there now. And that'll all be covered with paper mache. Now go back, kind of mess with the fan, making sure he stands. Sometimes it takes some fiddling with the feet. Okay. So far, so good. Now he's gonna need a tail like him. He's got a tail. And so for the tail, first I drew that. So it's, again, it's gonna be, it's about 3 inches long, wider, and then goes narrow. And then there's gonna be a little spot that we're gonna fold, and then another that matches. Just so if you wanna draw it on a paper, or you can draw it right onto your cardboard. So I'm gonna cut this out. So like this. This is one I bought. He's metal, but see, this is how I kind of got the idea for the shape. And see, this is how I got the tail. It's just kind of a, it's like that. So okay. So I cut this out. So now lay it on your cardboard. And just trace around it or draw right onto your cardboard, either one, however you're comfortable. So, and that center area, we're gonna fold. So there, I drew it on there. Everybody can see that. So now we're just gonna cut that out. So we end up something like this. And then that center, we're gonna fold. And that's so that it's kind of has a thickness to it. So fold on those lines there and there. And so you end up with something like this. See that? Okay. And what we're gonna do then is we're gonna glue or tape that onto our bird. Put tape here. And put tape here. So we're taping on both. Then take your bird, tape top like that, and then tape it down there. So he's like this. And then you can take some tape and close that in with tape. Like that. And on the end, so you want to keep it, you don't want to squish it together because you want to keep, so it gives him depth. So his tail looks like it's got some thickness to it. So just kind of tape that. So, and that'll all covered. Don't worry about it with the paper mache next week. So there. We got a tail. Like that. It's got some thickness to it. Okay. Now he needs a beak. The little guy needs a beak. So for a beak, what I found that works the best is a circle and then a little tab on it. And so a circle with a tab, and then we're going to cut this part out. So that part will be cut out. So, and then what it ends up looking like with cardboard is this. So it's a circle that I drew, and it's about 1.5 inches across. So, and it's got a little tab, and then I cut that out. So you can draw it on paper, or you can just draw it right on the cardboard, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, so cut that, and then draw it onto the cardboard. Like so. Okay, then I'm going to cut that. Like that. Now you want to figure out where the center of that circle is and kind of make a dot. And then just make a V and cut that out. Cut the V out. Like so.
Gina, what, the size of that circle, what would you say the circumference is?
I'd say it's 1.5 inches
Okay, thank you.
to 2 inches. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say it's about 1.5 inches to 2 inches across.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now you just want to fold that like this. See that? Just fold it so that it makes a beak. So what you're doing is you're taking that part that you cut and you're bringing that and overlap it like that. See that? And then you just want to tape that so that it stays. Like so. So did everybody see that? Yeah, where'd the other one go? So it was just this. You bring it together and tape it. So you got a little beak. And this tab is what we're going to put. See, it that's what goes right there. So it kind of holds it like that. So then just tape that on. So tape his little beak on. And you can kind of tape, squish it and tape the sides. See, I'm kind of taping it down, and I'll put a piece of tape under it. Well, I guess it's his beak, so under there too. So now he's got his little beak. All that's going to be smoothed out when we paper mache. Okay, and see if you can see on here, see, I taped it up there, taped it down here, and that becomes his beak and his head. So you just kind of, I know it looks funny now, but once it's all covered, you'll see that there's the beak and this is his head where you put we're going to put the eye there and see. So now you should have a tail, a beak, and his body. Now the next part is up to you. He can be a bird like this, which is the original one, is like that, very primitive, no wings, or add wings like I did on mine. So that part's up to you. If you want him to be more like this, then you don't need to add. You can just leave it like that. Or you can cut wings, which it's just a wing shape and a little tab, so it's easier to tape it down. So like this, see, I have a little tab that I'm going to bend. So you can just draw a wing, and it's just kind of an oval with a point, and cut that out. And you're going to obviously want 2 of these. So actually, with your cardboard, you can get a piece big enough, fold it over, and just go ahead and cut 2 at once. So I folded it, so I'm going to be cutting 2. Just saves you some work. So, and this, like I said, this is up to you. Okay. So we got 2 wings. So 1 for this side, 1 for the other side. And the wings, you want to attach them kind of crossways. And then you can actually do it like they could be going down or they can go up. That's totally up to you. However you want your bird to look. I'm gonna tape mine going up. So you kind of go midway on the body, tape it, the little tab down. And then I flip it over and tape it again on the back to kind of hold it in place like that. Now I will say, adding the wings, next week when we paper mache, it's an additional thing to cover. So it's not hard, but it makes it a little bit more challenging. So it's up to you. I like the looks of the wings, but I also like the primitive look without. So it's up to you. So now I'm gonna put the other one on, try to kind of eyeball it, get it basically the same area as the other side. See, I'm kind of eyeballing it, so it's kind of the same. Tape that tab and then go behind and tape it on the other side like that. Okay, so now we have our bird. So this is what we're doing tonight. Next week, we will be making our paper mache and covering it. I was gonna show you, here's another one that I've made, all formed. This one I used a toilet paper roll for the tail. Here's a chicken that I made. And see this one, when I add cardboard here, I did the tail differently. And the wings, I padded by taking plastic, crumpling it up, and then you cut it and you kind of fold, and then you tape that down, and then you get like a poofy wing like that. I'm saving, like now I'm saving this because I could see this maybe being a dog and like forming legs with a toilet paper roll, see, and bending it and folding it. There are just numerous things, numerous animals. Now everything I see an animal. Like I saved this the other day because it's like, oh, that could be a dog or something like that. There's just all kinds of things. I saved like containers because I thought that could be the dog's little brown bottom or whatever. But for our thing, we're doing little birds. So here he is. So next week, what you're going to need is you're going to need 1/3 of a cup of flour. You're going to need about 2 teaspoons of salt mixed in with the flour. And then you're going to need a 1/2 cup of hot water. It doesn't need to be boiling, just hot out of the tap. And a shallow bowl and a fork that we're going to mix all that up. Don't mix it until we get together next week. And then you're going to need newspaper. And it's best if it's just regular newsprint and not shiny. You don't want it the shiny like an ad. You don't want that.
How much
So it
water
can be
again?
just, what's that?
How much? Sorry, how much water again?
how much water? You're gonna need a half a cup of hot water, a third cup of flour, and a half a cup of hot water, and about 2 teaspoons of salt. The salt, you don't have to add it, but because we live in the Midwest, the salt helps it from ever getting moldy. So, and the newspaper, you don't need a lot for this, for the bird, but just 4 or 5 pages probably. And we're ripping it. So we'll be doing all that next week. We'll make the paper mache paste, we'll rip our paper, and we will start covering our bird. So, so now, if anybody has any questions, I can take questions.
I'm gonna hop us off of Facebook Live first, before we start
Okay.
doing questions. But if you joined us from Facebook Live, thank you. And please join us next week when we start paper macheing our bird form.
Okay.
Okay. 1 second, Gina, let me hop off.